Over 2,000 tons of gold are mined every year. Around half of that becomes jewelry, a tenth of it is put to industrial use, and a third of it goes into bars and coins to be held in monetary funds and central banks around the world. Gold is traded on the market every day, bought and sold by individuals as well as funds and banks. Like any commodity, the price of gold depends on the demand for it. As a mineral, there is a finite amount of gold available. So far in human history, over 170,000 tons of gold have been mined. This isn't as much as it sounds. All the gold that has ever been mined could fit into 3.5 Olympic swimming pools. The remaining gold in the ground is expected to run out shortly after 2030. The trend over the last century is that the price of gold steadily increases. When it runs out, the price could skyrocket. But the market could collapse even before then. Tens of billions of dollars worth of gold is traded every day in special markets. According to Chris Powell, sales of gold are basically underwritten by the central banks. In 2009, market analyst Paul Milcreast calculated that bullion houses who buy and sell gold have only 15,000 tons of gold to trade. He also worked out that 2,134 tons of gold were traded every day on the London market alone. At this rate, the entire world's stock of investment gold changes hands every week in one market. But gold is bought as an investment, to hold on to as it steadily increases in value. What's more, all this gold is held by the bullion trading houses, not given to the people who buy it. Analyst Adrian Douglas says this means that when you buy gold, you're really buying a document that just says you own it. He calls it paper gold. Douglas also argues that the amount of gold sold each day compared to the amount of gold that exists means that every ounce of gold has at least 4 owners. In effect, the bullion houses are selling gold that doesn't exist. This might sound far-fetched, but there is a precedent for it. In 2005, Morgan Stanley was sued by its clients for selling them non-existent precious metals. For 2 decades, Morgan Stanley sold investors gold, silver, platinum, and palladium and charged them storage fees for holding it. When the clients asked for the metals, nothing was ever delivered. Morgan Stanley settled the case out of court. Meanwhile, JP Morgan Chase & Company is currently being sued for manipulating the price of silver. In January 2017, Keith Neumeyer, the CEO of silver mining company First Majestic, said the same manipulation is being carried out in the gold market. If more gold is being sold than actually exists, it could have disastrous consequences. If Adrian Douglas is correct that each ounce of gold is owned by 4 people, each one of those owners has a right to claim that ounce of gold. If people simply ask to be given the precious metal they officially own, the banks and bullion houses would not be able to give it to any of them. They would become bankrupt. The price of gold would then rise to stratospheric heights. As Chris Powell put it, there may not be enough zeros in the world to put behind the gold price. This could have the effect of devaluing currencies around the world, since a country's ability to purchase one of the world's most important commodities would be drastically reduced. However, the effect might not be that cataclysmic. Almost every country in the world has abandoned the gold standard. This means their currencies are not tied to the value of gold. Rather, the value of money is tied to the worth of the goods and services countries provide. Moreover, the price of gold is less stable than its reputation suggests, yet economies have continued well in spite of this. If the price of gold went sky high, it would cause the collapse of the gold market and the gold mining industry, but probably not the economy. Nevertheless, in recent years, Russia and China have been buying up gold, the real thing, not paper gold, and increasing their national reserves. They seem to be doing this to strengthen their own economies, in particular against the US dollar. The balance of power seems to be shifting. In the next few years, if Eastern nations decide to tie their currencies to the value of gold, it could cause a collapse in the Western economy. If, after that, it were then revealed that gold is far, far rarer than the markets pretend, the global economy would be seriously under threat. The USA still has by far the largest reserves of gold in the world, and is one of the biggest producers and third biggest consumer of gold, after India and China. Yet China claims to have only half the amount of gold we expect it to have, from the quantity it's been buying. And it appears to be an open secret that the gold market is manipulated. The situation could exist that the global economy will be brought down. Perhaps the whole system is based on a lie, and perhaps that lie will have consequences.